they're throwing these bales of hay up over the top there, hopefully. Let's see what he's got, see if he can do it here. Here you go.
Go, big pull, Brady Miller.
Oh! That's what I'm talking about right there. Give me a pitchfork, I got this.
The Scottish, a people known for their recognizable accents and bold personalities. With over 5 million residents, Scotland's population makes it the second largest country in the UK. But Scotland isn't the only place to experience this country's thriving culture. Many Scots have made their homes right here on American soil. As a people, proud of their roots, Scottish groups gather all over the United States to celebrate their long-standing traditions. I'm heading to St. Louis to check out the Scottish Games Masters World Championships to learn a bit more about Scottish culture and to see what it means to call yourself a true Scotsman.
All right, I think this is it. We're pulling in. Looks like they got all the tents set up and everything. This is Scottish Festival 2015. I'm looking forward to just checking this place out. I mean, that this is going on in St. Louis is nuts. And you got all these people from all over the country. I'm gonna follow this guy even though I'm not sure where he's going. This guy doesn't look Scottish at all. It's a Scottish park job right there. Here we go.
Walking into the festival, I was immediately overwhelmed with everything I was seeing. Being a first-timer, I needed to find somebody to show me the ropes. Luckily for me, I found just the right guys for the job.
Well, we're with a group called the Ancient Honorable Order of the Highland 100. We're a group of gentlemen that pride ourselves on wearing Highland attire in the traditional style. Most of us have been involved in Scottish societies and pipe bands and other activities over the years, and you go to a games and you don't really get to enjoy them. And this time, we can actually go and have a couple of pints and talk to our friends and not feel pressure to be out being involved in everything. Just mates having a pint and a dram and a pipe.
So what everybody probably wants to know is, let's talk about the drinking aspect of the Scotsman.
Scots don't drink.
No,
we're all a temperance
right.
society here. So the Scots say that whiskey is the water of life, ishkabaha. The heart of it is good friends and hospitality. That was the hallmark of the Highlands.
I think I have a designated driver, so I think we're good to go.
I'm not driving you home. Those like this.
10 years first.
There you go.
Hearing about Scotland's wonderful relationship with alcohol, it only seems right to get to know my new friends over a few shots of one of Scotland's most iconic drinks.
Let's have a toast. May the best you've ever seen be the worst you'll ever see. May a moose never leave your pantry with a teardrop in his eye. May you all be hale and hearty till you're old enough to die. I wish you all the best, as I wish all to be. Sláinte. Cheers.
Sláinte.
It's warm in Matumley.
If we really wanted to test you, we'd make you say after a couple shots, if you can say it's a bra brick moonlight night, then you're all right, you can.
Van Broek Nick Nick.
Close enough.
Close.
One more? I'll have another. Okay. This is one my grandfather taught me. Goes like this. Here's to us, nae like us, God dead, and that translates to here's to us. There's nobody else like us. God damn the rest. Cheers. Sláinte.
I feel like I feel it all over my tongue.
It's
just like surrounds.
Yeah, it's a big, bold flavor.
It's good, refreshing, really. I might have to come back later.
As the alcohol began to take its effect, I was starting to feel more at home in this strange environment. But it was time to say goodbye to my new friends in order to catch the main attraction of the festival. Over the past 15 years, the Scottish Games have drawn huge crowds of spectators, and it was time for me to see what all the hype was about.
This is the Scottish Games Masters World Championships. It's the World Championships for throwers 40 years and higher.
Okay.
So what you're watching now is called the sheaf toss. It stems from a bale of hay to throw the hay up into, the lofts, and it's a pitchfork. And for us master throwers, it's a 16-pound bag. Right. Simulates a bale of hay. It's just really a burlap sack full of whatever they twine to make it weigh 16 pounds, and you impale it with a pitchfork, and you're throwing it for height and for accuracy. You have to get it over a bar, so it's got to go high enough, but it also has to cross the bar to be a valid attempt, and he just had a successful one. And the games don't really have a definite
begin date. They go back a long time, centuries. Scottish peasantry weren't allowed to use weapons because of English rule, or they didn't have them available, but they needed to stay in shape somehow for their farming, but also to prepare for battle when the time would come that they'd be able to do it. So men being men and strong men being strong men, you get together and you see who can throw something the furthest. So all these events have some kind of origin from agricultural and preparing for war without weapons kind of history. So they go back a long way in some way, shape, or another. And they've been modified to be more sport friendly over the years, but this goes back a long way.
Now, what type of injuries do people experience?
Everything that you could possibly imagine. The funniest thing I heard this year, my buddy stabbed himself in the toe.
Oh, wow.
Like completely impaled his toe with his pitchfork in training. So stabbing yourself in the toe with a pitchfork is very unique to this.
Right.
Yeah.
After hearing about the dangers of competing in the Scottish Games, it was time to find something a little safer to do. After a bit of searching around, locking myself in a cage with a 2,000-pound Scottish Highland was the closest thing to safety I could find.
Come on, Lady Eve, you're a good girl.
So what do we have here?
This is a Scottish Highland. The Scottish Highland breed originally came from Scotland, and they love to be groomed. That is one of the things they always enjoy, is being groomed.
Okay, so yeah, is there a technique here that I need to?
Down straight, down straight, yep. Let's see how she reacts to the grooming. Her face, she's much more calm. She's almost like,
I can see her ears holding back.
Yeah, she's almost like she's mesmerized.
Now, if she would switch with me, she could groom me, and we'd be fine.
She
We'd be set. I scratch your back, you scratch mine, kind of thing.
Yeah. No, but they love to be groomed.
Tell us a little bit about what you got going on here.
Oh, my name's Jim Porter. I'm the senior drum major for the Highland Games here today. Basically what I do is I conduct the ceremonies as far as the mass band. I've been involved in this for over 20 years now. Of course, it's everybody's dream to be the drum major.
Yeah.
It's very, very much a soul music. And every tune is a different story. So it's almost at times a history of Scotland.
It was really cool to hear about Scotland's rich musical traditions. After talking with the drum major, it was time to move across the grounds to learn about another Scottish tradition that dates back as far as Scotland itself.
All right, so looks like we got swords.
We do.
What am I holding here? What is this exactly?
It's a hand-and-a-half sword, so late part of the 14th century.
Okay.
And you can actually fight with it. A lot of swords that you see aren't meant to fight with. They're meant to look pretty, but this one you can actually fight with.
Yeah, it looks like I could do a little bit of damage with this thing.
You can see the end of it starting to be tapered, more of a point. And that's when knights began wearing more plate armor.
Yeah.
So you couldn't really cut through the plate like you used to. So they would look for gaps in the armor, such as in the armpits or the eye slots or in the neck somewhere. Okay. So the technique of fighting changed a little bit from chopping to more thrusting.
And then what do you got here? You got...
I also have a hand-and-a-half sword as well.
Okay.
So would you like to try a little something?
Tell me something.
All right, very good. Well, first thing, we'll start with an on-guard position. So you're actually not too far. You want to bend your knees a little bit and put your left foot forward. All right, it's a good defensive position. You can also attack from there very well. So what you're doing with your left foot forward, you're going to cross over with your right foot here and look through the little window like that, right like that. As I slide on by, then you'll take your left hand off, step around me, and you own me right there.
All right. Are the Scots known for a violent history? Is that something?
The Highlanders in particular were known for their famous Highland charge throughout the centuries. And very fearsome, they would charge the enemy and yelling and shouting. And this worked all the way up into something called the Battle of Culloden. The Highlanders charged, the English broke their ranks and ran. The second time they tried it at Culloden, the English stood firm and fired their muskets. And the Highlanders would charge over and over again, but they held and they lost that battle. But Highland warriors are always fierce and always known for their fearsome charge.
I feel like I can just take out anybody now with this sword. I think now I know a few moves, so I can keep this, right? This is mine.
Sure, yeah.
What do you think, guys? Is this me?
Now that one needs to be shortened up a little
Yeah,
for
probably
you,
a little bit.
because it would go just at the knee.
I feel good. I mean, I think I might just drop
It takes about a half hour to get used to wearing a kilt.
After taking in all the fun happening around the festival, the competition was coming to an end, and it was time to spend a little time with this year's grand champion, Julie Peterson.
You're the champion now.
Grand champion. We'll have to get that right. It's really important.
Grand champion of the Scottish Festival Games.
The
right?
St. Louis Scottish Games, which is special this year because they hosted the Masters World Championships.
Okay.
So it's very special for them. And we're walking up on a caber now. The caber is the premier event.
Right.
Everyone loves to see a telephone pole tossed in the air.
Right.
And tell me what you know about the caber.
I know very little. I mean, obviously, I would come in here just thinking it's a telephone pole.
Yeah. The most important thing about tossing a caber is how to bail out of it.
Right.
Because these can hurt people.
Sure.
We've seen people with stitches in the head, broken collarbones, and worse. So we're gonna walk up the caber. I'm gonna do that. And what you're gonna do is come around here and you're going to anchor it.
Okay.
Okay? And how strong are you? You're
Average.
very strong.
Look at me, I'm
You're
average.
so very strong. And then you cushion the caber between your head and your shoulder. Then you're going to work your way down the caber with your hands, standing slightly back more.
Okay.
You're gonna keep all this nice and tight.
Okay, am I
and
doing
you're
like
actually-
a squat? Is that what this
You're gonna point your chest more towards the ground.
My chest more towards the ground.
There you go. And your hands are gonna go further down.
Further down.
This one too. Okay. And then what you're gonna do, now you stopped squeezing it, didn't you?
Yes, I
You
did.
feel that?
Okay.
Okay. Are you gonna squeeze it?
Squeezing
You're
it
not
with
right
my
now.
Hand? With my hands? No. Easier said than done.
It is easier said than done. That is a true story of caber. You're gonna walk them all down. And then what you wanna do, you have to get that other hand down.
Well,
Okay, squeeze. That's good. Okay, pick it up and push it away.
Nope. Did not have it.
And that is the opposite of getting away from the caber. You okay?
Yeah, I'm good. Well, I'm not good at this. Let's just say that. All right off the bat. It's a lot more challenging than you'd expect. Okay, it's quite a lot of weight that you have to adjust for here. So yeah, I'm not sure I recommend it for everybody, but we gave it a shot, right?
You did great.
Right, and we had a great time here at the Scottish Festival. So thanks a lot, guys.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm
I
good.
worry about you. Okay.
I'm fine.
All right.
All in all, it's been a great day. I'm exhausted, but I feel like I've gained a new appreciation for the Scottish culture. I'm ready to take on the next adventure right after I go to the hospital.